Today, we're jumping into a pretty wild ancient text that asks a question that sounds like it's from a sci-fi movie. What if one person could literally be everywhere at once? We're about to explore a guide to reality that totally flips our ideas of space and time on their head.
So let's just get right into the central puzzle, right? How can a single person be in a bunch of different places at the exact same moment? I mean, it just sounds impossible.
Well, according to this text, the Avatamsaka Sutra, the answer has nothing to do with quantum physics or teleportation. Nope. It's all about a massive shift in consciousness, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
All right, so first up, we're diving straight into this really mind-bending opening scene. The whole idea is simple, but at the same time, it feels completely impossible. There's one Buddha, who is somehow, quite literally, everywhere.
So, picture this. The text starts with an image most of us know, right? The Buddha just meditating peacefully under the Bodhi tree. But right away, the story throws in this giant glitch in what we think of as normal reality.
And here's what that glitch looks like. Beings all across the universe, in every single direction, they all see the Buddha meditating. But, and this is the twist, they each see him under their own local Bodhi tree. And the really crucial part? Every single one of these groups is absolutely convinced the Buddha is there just for them, and them alone.
And the source text is super explicit about this. It says, all worlds in the 10 directions see the Tathagata sitting under the tree. You know, this isn't some metaphor. The sutra is describing this as a real event, happening everywhere, all at once, and yet it feels totally personal to everyone experiencing it.
So, how is any of this possible? Well, the text has a name for it. Dharma, body, manifestation. The key idea here is that an enlightened being doesn't travel from A to B like we do. Instead, their presence just manifests, you know? It pops into existence in countless places all at once. It's a totally different way of thinking about what it means to exist.
And this idea just keeps building. See, this isn't about moving really fast across the world we know. It's about shifting or kind of expanding into other dimensions altogether.
So the sutra just doubles down on this whole paradox. It says the Buddha is at the Bodhi tree, and on top of this great cosmic mountain, and in a heavenly palace, and flying up to an even higher heaven, all without ever moving from that original spot.
Let's break that down a bit. A conventional being, like you and me, we move through space. If we want to go from A to B, we have to leave A. But for an awakened being, it's different. They manifest across dimensions. They don't leave A at all. They're just present at both A and B. It's not about changing your location, it's about expanding your very presence. And again, the sutra is just crystal clear, so there's no misunderstanding. It says, without leaving the Bodhi tree, he goes to the Tushita Heaven Palace. So he is in two totally separate realms, two different dimensions, at the exact same time.
Okay, so what happens when a consciousness that's this expanded arrives in a higher dimension? Well, the answer is pretty incredible. The universe itself kind of wakes up and responds.
The beings in this higher realm see the Buddha arriving, and right away they get this magnificent lion throne ready. But the text suggests it's more than that. It's like the very fabric of that reality is rearranging itself to welcome this enlightened presence. And when the sutra tries to describe this throne, it just uses numbers that are meant to be infinite. To boggle your mind. It keeps talking about 100 trillion jewels, 100 trillion lights, 100 trillion canopies. Just on and on.
So, what's all this about? What does all this cosmic bling really symbolize? Well, it's not about being rich or living in luxury. It's meant to represent the infinite, boundless majesty of ultimate reality, what it calls the Dharma realm. The text is basically saying that the universe, by its very nature, just automatically reflects the presence of enlightenment.
And this leads us to the real heart of this whole cosmic vision. The Buddha we're talking about here isn't just a person in a body. The Buddha is the awakened consciousness of the entire universe, just taking on a form we can perceive.
All right, so a cosmic being manifesting across dimensions is super interesting. But what does it have to do with us? Well, according to this text, this whole story is really a blueprint for upgrading your own reality.
Yeah, this whole thing, this cosmic map, it's not just a fantasy story. It's presented as a practical user's guide. These are literally instructions for expanding your own cognitive dimension, right here, right now. And it gets really practical really fast. First, don't limit your role. You're more than just your job title. Second, expand your world beyond just work, family, money.
Third, make your life an offering, your good deeds your help. Fourth, cultivate your awareness. That awareness is the light that actually makes your world bigger. Fifth, understand connections. See how everything is part of this huge network. Sixth, act. True wisdom isn't just sitting around thinking, it gets involved. And finally, number 7, trust the process. This whole awakening thing is a gradual journey.
And that last point about it being a journey is so crucial. This transformation is described as a path you have to walk, not some light switch you can just flip on.
The text actually says, the Buddha's whole purpose is to guide people through these 5 stages. For someone who doesn't believe, the goal is just to inspire a little faith. For someone who already believes, it's about helping them grow. From there, you help them purify their mind, then mature, and then finally achieve true mastery. It's a whole developmental path for everyone.
And this quote just sums up the idea of a patient, supportive, step-by-step process so perfectly. It's all about meeting people exactly where they are and just helping them take that next step, whatever it may be.
And so this whole explainer kind of leaves us with this one powerful question, and it's drawn right from this philosophy. Is your world, right now, just made up of your own problems? Or have you started to see it as this huge interconnected network of causes and connections? Because the first view, the text suggests, makes your world smaller and smaller. But the second one, well, that leads to a freedom that just keeps expanding.